We are going live. Hey, everybody, it's showtime. Showtime, and I'm a giant nerd. All right.
Do. Oh, yeah.
Ready to go live. Hello, everybody. It's a dinosaur. His name's Rex and blah, 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 bloop. Do. Yeah! This episode is sponsored by Quack Alert. They are ridiculously in love with ducks. I have no clue why, but you know what? It's cool. Hey, everybody. It's Chris from the Charity Board Gamer. I'm excited because I had a chance to play a game, I think it was last Saturday. And no, was it last Saturday? No, it's Saturday.
No idea. I can't keep track of days and times and things. I'm in a blur, Chris.
But yeah, no, I had the chance to be able to play a game called CoraQuest, which really excited me. And of course, I have the amazing Dan Hughes on here tonight, where we're just going to talk about the game. We're going to talk a little bit about him and his journey, being able to be a contributor for the Dice Tower, his relationship with his daughter, and how they were able to make something fun amidst a very crazy time. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the Joseph Salmon Trust, which is an organization that helps families who've lost a child. So I am just excited to be able to discuss all these things. But first and foremost, Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here. I appreciate your time, Chris.
Oh, I appreciate yours. It's very late over there already. I think it's about 11 o'clock right now.
I must admit, I have had a nap. I went to bed at 6 in order to be primed and ready.
Wow!
You know.
Now I feel special. Oh my gosh! Don't make me feel that good right now.
I tend to nap in the afternoon and the evening quite a lot, though. I don't know. Yes, I did not that special, Chris. I'm just old. That's all.
Oh, I know. When I get home from work, usually, like if I pop something like on the television and I watch something with the kids, all of a sudden, all that has to happen is I have to just sit down,
that's it, yeah.
Start trying to watch it, and then
off you go.
I doze off. I doze off. My wife smacks me like in the arm, saying "You're snoring," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm awake. I'm watching this. I have no clue how the whole show ended or anything." It looks like we have Goldfinch gamers here. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. They're currently playing Magic the Gathering Arena. Okay, nice. I have not played. I've only played one game of Magic the Gathering, and that's when I was taught the game, and it wasn't for me. I think that was it for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big no. I'm too tight with my money to be into collectible card games. Unfortunately, I wandered down the Warhammer route a little way, and then but yeah, no, I can't afford Magic.
Yeah, I when you see those cards and you're thinking to yourself, hey, do you want to spend $100 on that? And I'm like, is this for like a bunch of cards? No, it's just for one. And I'm thinking to myself, I could buy about 4 different games that are board game related, and I'm just like, I'm playing those. Yeah. It's Magic the Gathering.
Oh, it's very good. Cutthroat. It's good for people who like it though. There's nothing wrong with deep diving into a game.
No, I definitely could not get into it. It just for me. Don't get me wrong. I would give it a try if somebody wanted to play it with me at a convention or something. I will sit down. I will play it again. But I have not. I haven't bought into it yet. I just haven't spent the money. And I think that's one of those things is when it comes to spending money, I always talk to my financial advisor. I talk to my partner. And she tells me whether or not to that it's a good investment. And usually she was like, no, you don't need that copy of Twilight Imperium 4th edition yet. No, wait till it's on sale. Oh, it's on sale. It's $90. No, wait till it's on a bigger sale. So it's like, okay. Yeah. Hey, Dutch, good to have you here.
Hello, Dutch Yoda. I know Dutch Yoda.
Awesome. Nice person.
He's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I'm seriously, you'll see him just supporting so many content creators and things like that, and he even does a lot of live streaming as well. And he's been playing with people at the ridiculous hours in the morning.
That's what he does. He stays up all night to watch streams. That's Dutch Yoda's raison d'etre.
Yeah,
I don't know what raison d'etre is in Dutch, but still.
Yeah, I don't understand how he can do that. Like I do a marathon and I'm passing out by 4 a.m. But yeah, no. So sorry, we went off track.
It's all right. That's what I do.
Hey, it's all good. So Dan, tell us about yourself. Tell us kind of what got you into the hobbies and what you enjoyed as a kid growing up playing games, and what it's like playing games with your kids.
I'm a 44-year-old man. I think you lose track after a while. I live with my wife and 3 kids. I'm a nurse, psychiatric nurse. And what got me into gaming? Well, it's that age-old kind of story where you were into gaming as a kid. You'd play D&D when you were 18 with all your friends. Then when you got to kind of 21, you kind of thought, oh, well, I must put all that behind me. You go on with your life for a while. And then I think, I dabbled with D&D throughout my life, really. But then kind of, I think it must be about 8 years ago now, suddenly, bang, played Carcassonne, and that was it, In came the thousands and thousands of games. Then over the years, they've all gone back out again as I realised, as you kind of refine your tastes. So I'm into all sorts of games. I like Ameritrash type stuff. I do some mini war game, kind of skirmish games. I do a lot of role playing games. Well, I used to do before all this happened, but don't do so much online of that. And Euros, all sorts of stuff. But the kind of thing that I kind of focused down on, the thing that I've got most in my collection is family games. I play a lot of games with my daughter Cora. I review family games on the Dice Tower in both Board Game Breakfast initially, and then I moved to kind of standalone videos on the Dice Tower. So family games is my kind of big passion. I'm very passionate about games aimed at kids and really good games aimed at kids, because there's loads of them out there, but they just don't get the same kind of traction within our kind of hobby community as other games. I mean, I keep saying I go to Essen every year, or I didn't this year, obviously, but and yes, all the Euros and stuff are really exciting, but the really, really exciting stuff are the kids' games, because the Euros are going to be available in the shops for the next 3 or 4 months. But the kids' games are going to be there, and you're never going to see them again because they'll probably be in German shops. But and there's some amazing innovation in kids' games these days, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. And really simple, nice rule sets and things like that. Isle of Skye, I don't think Isle of Skye is anything like Carcassonne. I think it's more of an auction game, Isle of Skye. So there you go.
I've never played Isle of Skye.
It's a wonderful game. Wonderful game.
Would you believe it? I just learned Carcassonne maybe 2 years ago. Right about 2 years ago is when I first, about mid 2018 was when I started learning, getting into the hobby style games that are out there now. Before that, it was back in high school playing Monopoly and Risk and Clue and Stratego, and then, like you said, round those 20s and stuff, saying, "Well, I'm too old for board games.
Yes, I'm a grown up now.
I'm very mature and."
So I'm going to go out and drink too much instead of play games. Well, that was my journey anyway. But yeah.
No, so what have been some of the family games that you've really enjoyed playing with Cora?
It changes throughout. I mean, the thing about family games is they very much change throughout as your child gets older. So kind of initially you've got all the kind of Hab as the biggest name, but there's all sorts of old games like that. There's some fantastic games. The most mainstream game that is absolutely wonderful that we used to play a lot of is Outfoxed. A lot of people might know Outfoxed. It's done really, really well. I think it's by is it Blue Orange? No. Whoever it's by. It's game right. I think it's absolutely fantastic. A deduction game, but really, really good. That's one of my favorites. I like some of the memory games. There's a game called Wizardry to the Power of 3, which is absolutely fantastic. There's also a game called Lumina, which is a Habba game. And the great thing about memory games with younger kids is that they can compete on an even playing field, because kids have generally got really good memories. Adults have generally got really bad memories. And so it allows the kid to feel powerful and skilled, and not just relying on luck, playing against an adult, and they can beat you legitimately. And I think that's wonderfully to be empowered by that, by a game. Similarly, co-op games are great for kids because you can work on the same team, so they don't need to play down to them, but also they don't need to feel like they've been beaten into the dirt or anything like that. Yeah.
No, so here's a good question. This one, if parents are watching or anything like that, how is one of the things that you've done helped address, like with kids losing, understanding loss and wins, and how to celebrate appropriately and things of that nature? How have you gone about that with Cora?
Well, I've been quite lucky in that all of my kids have been relatively good losers, really. I tend to make a big deal about winning and go, in your face, and make it a kind of a comedy buffoon type thing. And I think that possibly helps. Different kids have different attitudes towards winning and losing, and it's all tied up in self-esteem. And I don't think you should be punishing kids for being bad losers.
No, gosh, no.
But you should also be not give in to it as well. Just calm, settled. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. One of the good ways of doing it is saying, going back over and say, well, what could have gone differently? Why do you feel what happened? But some kids aren't up to doing that, and sometimes it just takes time until they do that. But same with adults who are bad at losing. Sometimes you just need to play cooperative games with them.
Oh, gosh,
really?
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, just talking it through. But I'm no child expert, and I've been fortunate in my kids have all been all right with losing. So it's not a big deal. The challenge I've had as a parent in gaming is me, especially in the early years, being too enthusiastic about gaming, wanting to game all the time, and pushing it on my kids when they didn't really feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's certainly what happened with my eldest daughter, who's now 17. But when she was 8, when I first got into gaming, she was a really willing partner. But then when she wasn't feeling it, she lost concentration, and I got cross because I'm a parent, and parents get cross. I've got I lost my temper. He goes, come on, concentrate on the game, and that it made it feel like a chore to her. And suddenly she said, I don't like games, where she liked them before. So I think you need to go at the child's pace. That's the one big parenting tip I've learned from, and it's not correcting a flaw within them; it's correcting a flaw within myself, which is sometimes harder and easier. I don't know, but yeah.
No, I completely agree with that. I know with our 3 kids, it's that okay, we want to try to do this many games in a week, like review wise, and so, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if they say, "Daddy, I'd rather watch a show with you," saying, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because no, sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, you're good. No, but I mean, that's really what it comes down to, because when you're doing family-based reviews and you're working with your family, you want your family to be involved. And at some point, if you become too anal retentive in the way that you teach a game or play the game, or you're not paying attention to the rules, or you're walking away from the table way too much, or it's like and then it's like playing games is walking on eggshells with daddy, and or whoever the parent is.
Yeah.
And so that's been one of the biggest things, is like, okay, I'm not playing with adults, I'm not playing with grown adults. Grown adults, they understand certain rules and nuances and mechanics and things of that nature. My kids, it's lay a tile down, play a piece, that's good, or don't play a piece, that's also good. I think that's been the biggest thing for us is learning that approach of, okay, I enjoy games, but I don't want them to lose their passion.
Exactly. Yeah. And well, in a similar situation to you, myself and Cora, we review games together. And one of the philosophies that I wouldn't say learn. I've taken right from the beginning is we'll only do it if you want to, because there's no one wants to see a video with a sullen child next to you anyway. But also keep it fun, and B, one take. We do one take, and if it doesn't work, then we don't do the thing because she's not there to get it right and to think, So it's just like, let's go. I mean, she can do a bit more than that one take now because she's older. She's 8, but yeah. So it's a very similar situation. I've got Castle Panic's a great one. I like. Sorry, I'm going to respond to people.
No, I like anytime that somebody puts a comment. My whole goal for the comments is to let us just be able to make sure they're just as involved as we are with each other. So yeah, Castle Panic's great. I like the Star Trek Panic as well. I think that's really cool as well. Although doesn't really tend to touch a nerve with kids because they've got no idea what Star Trek is. Well, my kids don't anyway. Yeah, but yeah. No, we tried watching I think an episode or 2 of The Next Generation. And I forgot that there was a little bit of risque type stuff in the beginning season, and I'm like, you're 9, you're gonna have to no, but because there's just different things that you don't think about when you're watching it. Because I watched Next Generation when I was younger, and that was my favorite show. And I would sit down and just kind of fall asleep on the couch watching it with my parents. And I didn't see all the nuances or understand it all. Now you're watching it as an adult. You're just kind of like, oh, that's okay. And so watching it with my kids and trying to just properly navigate them through. It's like, oh yeah, this is kind of because they're a lot smarter than I was at their age.
Yeah, so, yeah. It's quite slow. It's quite slow paced as well. Things like that. All programs from my youth that I sit down with my kids, they all stand up and wander off after 5 minutes because nothing's happened yet. It's like, different timings, isn't it? Different ways of doing things.
Let's see here. It looks like Dutch says Ticket to Ride and Quacks will always get played if they hit the table.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
And such a Trekkie, you hope your kids will be as well. I hope so too. I mean, there's so many good things that the original Star Trek series was so controversial at the time because it talked about you had different things about race and different cultures and things of that nature, which were very I mean, it was just controversial.
First ever interracial kiss was on television. Was on Star Trek, I think.
I mean, you think about it, it's like, that's just. I mean, it was groundbreaking, and even Leonard Nimoy, like just him as a person was so awesome to the nerd community and just very opening, accepting. I remember reading after he passed, just about just how much he as a person interacted with people that felt different or felt left out, and Star Trek invited them in, and so just a beautiful story. I mean, he took this from.
I can't do that.
Yeah, he took this as I think from Shabbat Shalom, which means peace be with you.
All right, okay. Yeah. So he made that up himself. I'm just going to sellotape my fingers together now, so I can join in.
All right. Let's see you do it.
I'm doing it, man.
Okay.
Hang on.
And then so he took that and he just did one hand and live long as prosper. And
there we go.
I think it was season 2 that this was introduced. So, and what was crazy is I think that series only lasted 3 seasons.
It's like the Beatles, isn't it? The Beatles only were together for 7 years. It's like, how did that happen? All that massive cultural impact over such a short period of time. You just would, it's just interesting. Interesting, all these kind of, you feel like things have done a massive oeuvre, and yet they're very short.
I mean, it's quite amazing the things that can make just a big enough impact just by a small period of time.
Yeah.
You think about it, 2020 definitely has been impactful, but mainly coronavirus has been very impactful to a lot of the world. But it impacted you and your daughter in a different way, and that's partly the reason why we brought you on tonight, was to talk about CoraQuest, which was just a labor of love between you and your daughter. And now it's something that families are going to be able to enjoy once this fund's on Kickstarter.
I was going to say, hopefully, someone's going to. Well, they can because
I'm just going to call it into being right now because if anybody's watching right now, I've had the chance to play it. It's a fun family dungeon crawler that I truly had a blast playing, and even Tony Vicinda will say that on his game show where we play different games, it was the first game that he ever lost on a live. So definitely worth it. But I'm going to pull up the actual website. Dan, talk about it as much as you want, and we'll just go from there. I'm going to kind of scroll through.
It kind of had its origin, as I say, in homeschooling, really, because the lockdown, we had to do homeschooling, things like that. Got a bit bored of doing the school were doing their best, but they obviously short notice, they weren't set up for giving out homeschooling information and things like that. So we got some worksheets that we'd finished by kind of 11 o'clock, and then so we ended up trying to look for something else to do, but I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to make it exciting. And Cora's, as I say, always been into gaming. And so we ended up just kind of saying, oh, well, should we create a game? There was no ulterior motive behind it. We weren't talking about Kickstarters. It was just for me and her to enjoy a creative experience to do together. And there was a bit of educational stuff in there as well. Lots of probabilities with maths and things like that with the dice. Cora did all the art, so there's art in there. I made her do kind of. She doesn't like creative writing, but I made her write all the backgrounds for all the stories and things like that, and lots of design technology type skills. And so that's what it was. And I've got a podcast, and I've got a Facebook group on that podcast. So I kind of just put a post about us doing this, and we're having fun. I've got a friend called Gary who's a very talented artist, and he just kind of put together a almost as a joke, a box cover for CoraQuest, and I went, "Oh, do you know what I mean?" I'd never visualized it as being an actual product before, and then suddenly there's this box thing, and I thought, "Well, I could just follow this and see where it goes." And so we sent it out to loads of playtesters, who were people in my Facebook group, really. Some with kids, some not with kids. They sent loads of feedback back. I mean, the game was very basic initially, but it's still basic, but we developed it and refined it and stripped it down of any complications. We stopped using dice with numbers on because that's a little bit complicated. So we started using dice with just symbols on, just one symbol on. Made it as simple as humanly possible. And then I am biased, but it turned into a genuinely good game, I think. So then we initially put it out as a print and play, and then again the wheels start turning, thinking, well, should we ever go at Kickstarter? Because it'd be lovely to have a proper produced game that Cora can take down through an entire life. So we bring it to Kickstarter. The thing that really kind of that was exciting, and then the thing that really kind of bumped it up a level is we started using. For the art in the game, we use kids' art. It's all done by kids, and it's coloured in by Gary. Gary's an incredible artist, but it's coloured in by Gary. But it's all kids' art, and all those kind of contributions. And we opened it up, and someone started writing a friend of mine started writing a soundtrack for it, and someone else wrote a few adventures for it, and it just started becoming a kind of real communal experience. And so, I mean, you're on at the moment. You're on the character creation thing rules, and so we started thinking. Well, we had so much fun creatively making this game. Why? I want to share that with everyone else. So the game's complete in the box. There's loads of adventures you can play it in. You'd never have to do anything. But also there's very simple rules, but rules about how to make your own characters, how to make your own heroes, how to make your own enemies, how to make your own quests. It's all customizable, so you can completely make it yourself. If you wanted to make this a game about the A-team going into a dungeon, you can do. And I'm very tempted to, actually. I don't know if you see the character creator tab up there at the top there, Chris. Have you looked at that yet?
I have not. So let's take a look at it.
Right. So you can upload in that. You can upload your own. So if you find a random image off the internet or on your hard drive or something,
cool.
You can upload it in there, and then you can make your own card, CoraQuest card, and choose all the stats and choose special abilities. You could use one of our special abilities. You can make up your own special abilities, so you can design an entire hero. And then at the end of the process, you print it out, and then you can print it out, and it comes out as a card, a proper official card, and also a standee for you to use. And so, I mean, the thinking with this app is that kids like things to look official, and sometimes kids, there you go, that's a good one. So click next, and so you can move it around within there, although it looks fine where it is. And kids like things to look official and awesome, and so you can by doing this, it encourages them to think that their stuff is good enough, and then that's why one of the reasons we use kids art as well, other than it looks cool. It encourages you to believe that you can do it, really. And if other kids are doing it, why can't I do it? And there's no good enough. There's no not good enough, because everything's good enough in CoraQuest. Just get out there and create it. So so you can choose those. The ones we've got there already, they're within the rules, but then also you can put a custom one on if you want to, so you can just type something into it if you want. And then there you go, you see, and then you print out that, fold it up, and then you've got your own standee and card, which is pretty cool, awesome. Really, I think.
That is really cool. I love it.
Yeah. That we just announced that this week. That was my big secret that we've been holding back. And so one of the stretch goals of the Kickstarter is to pay to make one for the monsters as well, so you can make your own monsters and things like that. So you could end up with a game which is the core of it, the rules of it are ours, but the actual stories and everything you're making for it is yours. So you've got the A-team going against a bunch of skeletons or whatever. I keep going back to the A-team because I like the A-team, but or Ron Burgundy and the news people going against
news team,
the other news team. You can do whatever you want with it. One thing that some families have done is they've put themselves into it, and then they're adventuring through the dungeon and stuff like that. But as I say, the original idea was kids do their own drawings and put it in, but you can use it for whatever you want, really. So that's the kind of customizability of it, and that's what's kind of making me passionate at the moment. I've not moved on from the mechanics and things, but that's kind of done now. And now I'm getting really excited about this customization type stuff. If you go on I'm directing you what to do here.
Oh, you're good. This is good.
If you go on the community tab, I don't know if you've seen this. This is the stuff that people have sent in to us. So Jerry Hawthorne, who's the designer of Mice and Mystics, he's done us a few things. But you can go on that if you want. So the really cool ones are the monster pictures. If you look at the next one, that one, yeah. Yep. And that just kids have just drawn loads of. That's me and Cora talking about what come in. But just those are all the kind of pictures kids have sent in to us, and some of them. I mean, you can see one of them on the top is made it into the game. Lots of them are on the cover. That one, that made it into the game. Lots of them on the cover and stuff like that. And I just love the awesomeness of kids being creative and then they can see their stuff and they can use their stuff, and it's just awesome. I really like it.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most exciting things. I think when I heard that, you really, one, that you're doing this with your daughter, but also the fact that you're inviting other kids to be able to be a part of it, which is really cool. Families being able to get involved, which, I mean, that makes for fun for families. It's like, hey, do you want a chance of seeing your character in a game? And they're like, yeah, I'd love that. So
I mean,
they draw their different things.
The downside of that is we can only use so many. Do you know what I mean? So I always feel guilty when I see all those, because some of them we haven't used. But they're all gonna. I think we're gonna try and put them all somewhere. So they might just be in the rule book or something like, what I mean? All the ones we've had submitted, but we can't keep on taking that forever, obviously.
I kind of want to see the Spino deer.
Spino deer is pretty cool. Yeah. You just click on it, it comes up as bigger. But they're so there's all that kind of side of it as well. So there's a kind of it's like awesome. We should have, if we'd have thought in time, we should have made a Christmas card out of that, because it definitely looks like a kind of monster Rudolph, doesn't it?
It really does. There's a sidekick, which is kind of like a snowman type character with spikes.
Yeah. He's dead.
Like a dead elf or something. Oh, that's so good.
I tell you what, a lot of there's some really, really and such charming stuff coming out. It's just awesome, really. And so that's really kind of exciting to us is the creativity that is coming forward, and being able to, hopefully when this actually gets into people's hands, that they can take that creativity forward. So as I say, it's a game you can play. You don't have to be creative. It's a great game. But if you as a family want to be creative, then you've got all that option there. And as I say, I'm really excited about that character creator app, because I think having it official it used to make a big deal for me as a kid. If you draw something and you go do it wrong and it's rubbish, and and you won't use it, or it doesn't look like the other ones and things like that. But that should all be good. So
yeah, no, it's just I got excited after we played it, and so
yeah.
And so the one thing I was like wondering was player count. I think you said up to 4 players.
Yeah. And you asked about whether it goes to 5, and I thought, well, it should do really. I am working on that. It's not going to be a stretch goal or anything like that. I think it'll just be a bunch of optional rules within the game. I think I need to work out how to make the characters harder, and the game harder in order to have 5, because it's balanced as far as a dungeon crawler goes, where you're rolling dice and stuff for 4. But yeah, there will be a way of sticking a fifth person in. I just need to work it out.
Yeah.
I
know one of the things that we talked about was one of the neat things that you can do is if your character is eliminated from the game, they then can take over the role of the bad guys.
Yeah.
And kind of cause havoc and problems for the heroes, which is really cool. I like that idea.
And then if 2 people are eliminated, then the game ends anyway. So hopefully no one will feel left out, as it were. So we could just do that. We could just say, my ideas are, there's a bunch of various adaptations you can use, and then in the back I'm just going to have a little section on how to make the game harder, how to make it easier, all that kind of stuff. And there's pretty simple things you can do to make it easier and harder. And one of them will be, if you want to play with more people, then add 1 health to all the monsters, and or something. I've yet to play test it through, but that's my plan during the Kickstarter, because I will have nothing to do during the Kickstarter, obviously. So why not add some rules to things?
I want to see what this one from Finn is, because this looks really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's like
it's a hammer. I think it's called Hammerman, but I don't know if you noticed, but he's only got Y fronts on. He's only got his underpants on, his Y fronts on.
Yeah, I see that.
which isn't great adventuring attire, in my opinion. We've used the skull from that as a poison token in the game. I think. Oh yeah, and that's another one from Finn, a kind of ballerina umbrella person. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but yeah, Goose Bunny.
I love it.
It's just lovely. It's just been really lovely to see all these pictures. It really has.
I like the fact, and I love the fact though that too. Like if my kids wanted to draw something, and we could put it into that custom creator, the character creator, then they can have their little drawing as part of the game.
Exactly. The whole kind of ethos is creativity and empowerment of kids to replicate the experience we had, which was this excitement. I mean, at creating a game, at one point near the beginning, Cora just looked at me and said, I can't believe we can make our own game. You know what I mean? Because they've always been in a box that we consume rather than we have any power over. And that's what I wanted to kind of bring forward, really. The excitement that we got, I wanted to give to other people.
Very cool. Yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this, and I look forward to it. Now we're gonna also talk about something else too, which is maybe a little bit more somber, but at the same time is a beautiful thing that's out there to help out with families. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Let me remove this one and remove this to the stream, and I'll add the next one on here. Let's see. We're going to talk about the Joseph Salmon. Is it Salmon? Is that how it's said?
Yeah, Joseph Salmon Trust. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to pull up the banner for that as well. Here we go. So
Joseph is a boy I knew. One of my best friends from college had a child called Joseph, and when he was 3 years old, they went into his bedroom and they found him had passed away. He had pneumonia. They hadn't really. He went to bed with a sniffle, and he must have stopped breathing during the night. And that was what happened, which is obviously absolutely devastating for them. And one of the ways they dealt with that loss was they felt that if Joseph couldn't make an impact on the world, they wanted to do it on his behalf, really. And so they kind of funneled some of their energy and some of their grief into creating the Joseph Salmon Trust now, which is an organization which is it's a very small charity. It just works within my hometown of Huddersfield and a few surrounding little smaller towns. And it's an organization that provides financial support primarily for people who have lost a child. The majority of people who access it in order to pay for funerals, because when a child dies, the parents are often not in a financially stable place. No one is with a small child. You're not in a financial stable place. And funerals are incredibly expensive. And often parents feel it's the last thing they can do for their child, to give them a proper funeral. They usually want people to be buried because they want somewhere to actually go to physically, they want a headstone that really commemorates the child. It's very important for the parents to be able to say goodbye to their child in a way that they feel, a way they feel is they're doing their best for them. I mean, the other way they help is when people are self-employed or undergoing some financial struggles and in the process of grieving for their children, then obviously they will help by giving them some money to kind of tide them over for a few months so that they can take some time off work. For example, if you're self-employed and your child dies and you can't, I mean, I can't even imagine it, but you can't work, you can't focus, but the money's still going out. Do you know what I mean? So they'll help with that. So they're the kind of two ways that the Joseph Salmon Trust helps parents. Often what happens is the parents have helped become fundraisers for the charity themselves, and often pay them back even more than they got, if that makes any sense. But that burden of the financial weight is something you don't need when you are coming to terms with the loss of a child, really. So this is a charity I've been heavily involved in. They have another child that was very seriously unwell recently, and so they put the charity. We're still giving out grants and things, but it wasn't fundraising to the same extent. But they're ramping it up again now. The other child is better, which is just, sometimes life's just not fair, is it? When one family just gets inundated. So yeah, they're great people. Neil Salmon, who's a friend of mine, as I say, I was a trustee for a while. I've done a lot of fundraising for them. I organised a walk that went the width of the UK, and we had people from Holland and America. And on all sorts of places. We had an army major come, we had a professor of marketing, we had a policeman, we had mill workers, we had all sorts of people. We raised about £30,000 by walking the width of Hadrian's Wall, which is an old Roman fortification that separates Scotland from England. So yeah, it's a very worthwhile charity. So if anyone has any money they're burning a hole in their pocket, I'm sure that the Joseph Salmon Trust would be very appreciative of it. Because the thing about small charities that I feel quite passionate about is that that all the money's going directly where, this is run by volunteers. There's no CEOs which are bringing, that need paying and things like that. There's no employees. It's just going straight from your pocket into the people who need it. I mean, you need big charities as well, but the beauty of small charities is, as I say, it's that very directed help to people.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to ever have to experience what this family has experienced, but I love the fact that if something, God forbid, ever were to happen, that there's organizations like this that make a difference in people's lives. Yeah, because it happens.
Yeah. It does, and I think it's right that we as a society come together to support those people through those times. Really, I mean, there's other charities as well that do counselling, grief counselling, and things like that. But yeah, as I say, they felt there's lots of grief therapy, but not really any financial help. So that's why they went that way.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful that people can actually get involved on here. And what I'll do real quick, I'm gonna put the link in the comments as well for any of you that are interested in just looking up at this more, or if you want to somehow support in some way, shape, or form. I'm just gonna go ahead. And I'm gonna recommend that that if you're able to, please do. Remember, you can be a sword, you can be a shield, you can be a wallet.
That's
So
good. I like that.
it's a phrase. I think Grant Lyon and I were talking about it the other day. And it was one of those things that just kind of stuck with me since, just in regards to helping out. I mean, the idea of being a sword, you're fighting for the people that can't fight. The shield, you're protecting those who are being attacked. And wallet, if you're able to, you're financially supporting where you can if your person is able. If not, you find ways to be able to support, whether it be sharing the link or sharing the website or anything of that nature. It's the idea of, okay, maybe I can't financially help today, but I can do this right now where we can talk about it and bring it to light and let people know about it. So that way the people that can or are trying to find a way to help, this is a way for them to help. I remember with me and getting involved in some charities in the past, I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something that was impactful and helping people, but I didn't know the direction. I didn't have direction. And I think that sometimes is an important thing, is that sometimes people just need the direction of, okay, I want to put my money towards something. I want to go do something that supports communities, but I don't know where to start. And so being able to see organizations like this, the idea is, well, let's help people find the directions to go.
And the other advantage to kind of signal boosting organizations like this, although is that there are people out there who need the help who don't know these places exist. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean they've got leaflets in, pediatricians and the health services know these and the police know these exist, but still, they're wanting people to apply for the grants as well as give money for them and things like that. So yeah, I mean, as I say, this is a very local charity because they just haven't got the resources to be bigger. I think they had ambitions that way, but unfortunately, as I say, the other child got very, very unwell, and so they had to focus on their family for a while. But yeah. No, I agree. I think there's a multitude of ways you can help. Not necessarily this charity, but multitudes of ways you can help humanity is the thing, and the world as well. Obviously.
We can definitely make a world a better place if we are willing to put action and put words into action. And so this is a good example of doing that, is putting our money where the miracles are, is kind of the way that a child said it to me once. So, that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. I appreciate you coming on, talking about your game, which I am beyond excited about. When does that hit Kickstarter?
February the 1st, so basically 2 weeks' time. So I am a bag of nerves, is what I am at the moment. Trying to get everything done for the Kickstarter page is looking really nice as well. Gary's done an amazing job. I should also mention we've got Mark Cook on board as well, who's a project manager for Plastic Soldier Company. He used to be the CEO of Hush Hush, who did Fog of Love. So he's coming on board because I'm an idiot. So he's coming on board to make sure people actually get the game instead of me going, yeah, it's a great game, and then suddenly realizing I have to manufacture it. He's doing all that side of things. So he's the business chap.
Well, I see this game doing well, and I mean, I'm just going to speak that into it right off the bat, that I see this as being a good family game that will bring families to the table together to be able to just relax and enjoy each other's company. So I wish a great, successful campaign for you.
Thank you very much.
And I also thank you for bringing this charity to light. And hopefully people that are watching, whether it be today or later, and they want to support it, they can go ahead and do that as well, and make a difference or make an impact. So, but yeah, no, Dan, thank you for coming on tonight.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you very much for staying up late. It's almost midnight there.
It's all right. I'm not working tomorrow. I'm cool.
Oh, nice. Very nice. That's right. What do you work now here in the States for like nursing shifts? It's like they have so many. It's like a 12-hour, or
yeah. I work 12. I work in the community. Actually, my job is I go around to people who have either attempted suicide or are suicidal or mentally unwell in some way, and I kind of make a decision about whether they need to be in hospital or whether we can support them at home, and so I do all that kind of stuff really. So that's what I do for my day job.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful because I mean, people definitely need help, and
yeah.
yeah. I mean, especially I'm guessing that this past year probably has been a lot harder for people too. I don't know.
It's been interesting. We've been relatively quiet, and I'm not quite sure why. Because I would have assumed that we would have been very, very busy. I work with the over 65s as well, so I do work with a lot of debentures and things like that. Now that's an area we've found has become much more busier because people with dementia used to go to day centres, used to go out, do social activities, used to spend, and now they're cooped up with their carer, and that can lead to a lot of tension and a lot of difficulties. So we're finding that people are finding that difficult. But on a general thing, it's about the same as it was, which is fascinating to me because I don't know why we're not busier, but we're about the same. Which is good. I'm not complaining.
Oh no, maybe it's the fact that people are really wanting to connect and are trying hard to connect. I mean,
and there can be an element of getting out of the pressure of things. We've all had time to reflect and slow everything down a bit. So maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. It's only very anecdotal. I mean, it's only I can only speak for what I've seen. It's certainly not a study.
Well, I want to say thank you again for coming on. Folks, remember, if we can gather at the table, we can do the same for a good cause. So remember, you can be a sword, be a shield, or be a wallet. Support a good cause like you just saw about tonight, the Joseph Salmon Trust. And also look out February 1st for CoraQuest from Dan and Cora Hughes. Dan, thank you again.
No worries. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and out. We're going to play a little outro. And you all have a great evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Greenbrier Games. Be on the lookout for lost ones, hitting the Pledge Manager